Welcome back to the Final K. We've got the final day of both the Tirreno Adriatico and the Paris-Nice. Let me move this mic up a bit. So, final day, we've got the Tirreno first, stage 7. That is the stage on your screen. They're sat, let me get my wee red arrow out. They're sat about here. They've got one more passage of the finish line, and then it is the final. But no breakaway. 26.3 kilometers to go. Decathlon and UAE are at the front. I think there's one shooter rider there as well. But what has happened? The start of the day, them two mountains at the start of the stage, Van der Poel goes to the front and completely rips the peloton apart, pacing it. He drops all the sprint. He drops Delay, Jonathan Milan, I think he dropped Jasper Philipsen as well. So he's obviously getting in that final bit of training for the Milan San Remo. But he made the stage more exciting. He ripped it apart. Delay was one of the only ones. Tobias Lund Andersen, he stayed in with the peloton. The rest of the sprinters came back. I think Arnaud Delay was the one he got caught out the most. He only recently there got back into the peloton about 15, 20 kilometers ago. But he had a gap of about 1 minute. He had a couple of teammates with him, but he ended up getting back onto the peloton. So he did. And as it stands now, I forgot to mention the intermediate sprint as well. So there was an intermediate sprint. Visma were pacing at the front for that, and they played it perfectly. They launched Matteo Jorgensen. Obviously, he was 1 second behind Pellizzari. So they launched. Matteo Jorgensen got first in the sprint. Wout van Aert second. Tobias Hallen Johannesson got third. He was sprinting. I think he was only about 4 or 5 points off the Chiclamino jersey. He ended up getting third, so he didn't get the points needed. And then Roglic got fourth. But because Matteo Jorgensen got the 3 bonus seconds, he now moves up into second on the GC, as you can see on your screen. So he's now second. 2 seconds ahead of Pellizzari now. So that was quite fun to watch the way they did that. And then after that intermediate sprint, Pellizzari attacked out the front. So he did. And then Jorgensen caught him, and then they smiled, fist bump. Congratulations. But it was good to watch. So that is about it. We've just got under 25k to go now. I will give you an update on the Paris-Nice and what it is looking like in a moment. Actually, before I do that, let me do this. Give me uno momento. I just need to I'm just getting the favorites sorted. I forgot to get the favorites sorted. Whoopsie. But I think the last time I checked the Paris-Nice, I think they completed the first big mountain on Valentin Paris-Pantre. I think he's a minute up the road on his own. Marc Soler is about 20-30 seconds behind him, I think. Where am I? All right, this is where I am. So I'm trying to sort this out. Decathlon's still at the front. Obviously, they'll be looking for a second win for Tobias Lund Andersen. What was I going to do? .2 kilometers to go. I will hello, Eze. I think that's how I think it's how you pronounce your username, but I will go with SA. You all good? How is things? What was I gonna do? That's what I was gonna do. What is up? What is up indeed? Sorry, I'm just sorting out my favorites list. That's why I'm concentrating just on typing here. So yeah, I'll go with that. That's the favorites list for today. It's no particular order. But they're just, I was going to put Arnaud Delis, but he took quite a long time to get back into the peloton, so I don't know if he has the legs. So I've added Wout van Aert in there. But yeah, we have got, I was going to give you an update on the Paris-Nice here. So we've got 63 kilometers to go in the Paris-Nice. I don't think live coverage has started for it yet, but we've got 63 kilometers to go. They've completed the first category climb, the first category 1 climb, Col de la Porte, and they're just near the bottom of the descent of it now. Valentin Paripantre, he's in first out in the breakaway on his own. 40 seconds down the road is Marc Soler of UAE, and then a minute and 10 down the road from Valentin Paripantre is the peloton. So that is how it is looking in the Paris-Nice at the moment. I need to do this as well. I'm behind. I forgot to do all this before I came on. I thought I'd sorted it out last night, but I've forgotten. So I did. They're into the feed zone now in the Tirreno. There's little trek. They're getting... Is that near the front, is it? I think it's near the front. Jayco are now moving up onto the front. Either that or they're doing a breakaway. Yeah, they're attacking out the front. Dries de Bont with Covey of Jayco, the two from the same team, attack out the front. Decathlon chasing them down, but I don't think that they're going to get far, to be honest. But a Jayco rider actually attacked after the intermediate sprint earlier and was brought back, so it looks like they're trying to do it again. So Decathlon straight. There's a quick step rider there as well on second wheel, so it looks like both teams are shutting it down quite quickly. They don't want two riders getting in the way. That's where I am. Thought I saved it. So we're into the final 20k now of the stage 7 of the Tirreno. I'm going to change this along the bottom. I think Man United are playing as well. I think they've kicked off and all. Might stick that on my phone as well and watch it for a bit. Where's that saving to? Oh, it hasn't even saved yet. Haven't even saved it. I'm just trying to get the Paris-Nice stage, the profile for it saved just. That should be it now. Yep, there it is there. Just so I have it when I do swap over to it. But yes, back to the Tirreno. 19.3. I think the Jayco riders have been caught. I don't think they've been caught quite yet. No, they're still up the road, about 5 seconds up the road. So they are. Decathlon, UAE, Little Trek, Visma are all present at the front. Quick Step, I see Red Bull as well. Ineos, AF Education. But the main single file line out the front chasing down the breakaway is Decathlon and UAE. They're about 60 kilometers an hour at the moment. And I think the way they did the start of the stage, they did it very quick as well. So they'll finish it early today. How long's left in the Paris-Nice? Paris-Nice about 59 kilometers. I wonder if they let Valentin Paripantre go and get a stage win, because he's a minute and 15 now, and he's two 1 category climbs left to go. that is the favourites on the screen there. My prediction, I went with Jasper Philipsen, so I did. That is who I went for. I was torn between him and Tobias Lund Andersen, so I ended up going with Jasper Philipsen. And it looks like they were, you know, Matthew Van der Poel doing that at the front, trying to tire the rest of the sprinters out. So it does look like Alpecin are trying to go for it today. But Decathlon are present at the front here. I hope the Alpecin get their train right, or their lead out. They wasn't the best on stage 3, so it wasn't. They were all over the place, but then Jasper Philipsen, he ended up sprinting from quite a far bit back, and he ended up getting third as well. So I think if they get him in a good position and he launches perfectly, he should be winning. But then again, Little Trek, they didn't have the best as well. Jonathan Milan had no teammates going into the final 500, 600, 700 meters, and that's why he had to latch onto the back of Goodmanstadt of Decathlon. So I think Little Trek and Alpecin will be looking to have a better lead out in today's stage. So they will. $17 kilometers left to go. The two riders from Jayco have now been caught, so they got caught about a kilometre ago. I forgot to mention that when they did get caught, but two teams at the front. Decathlon still, they've been at the front for quite a bit, and then UAE as well. They're coming up the left hand side of Decathlon. So they are. But they are about to pass the finish line for the last time before they obviously, you know, end the stage. But they're coming up on the finish line here soon. Right, let me see if I can. So all the teams, nothing really much has changed. All the teams are sort of just getting their positions now. Alpecin are getting more prominent at the front here. So they are. Back over to the... Back over to the Paris-Nice. Paris-Panthère still like the... Oh my god. Oh, pardon me. Paris-Panthère still out the front, 1 minute and 15 seconds ahead. Marc Soler still out as well. He's about 35 seconds in front of the peloton, 40 seconds behind Paris-Panthère. But nothing much has changed in that one. If we are back to the Tirreno, they're actually going quite quick. There's quite a lot of narrow roads here. Coming up to the end of the... They're about to cross the finish line for the last time, so they're just showing them here, leading up to it, and there is quite a lot of narrow roads. So it does look they've come around the final bend onto the straight, and the peloton has stretched out. So it does look like positioning for this is going to need to be quite key. So I think that is why Decathlon are trying to stay at the front. There was no changes in the Paris-Nice GC, was there? I don't think there was. 320, 550, 609, 737. Yeah, no changes there. No changes there. I need to sort out the Paris-Nice favourites though, because they have changed for this stage. But this is the peloton now. In the Tirreno, the bell rings as they cross the finish line for the last time before the end of the stage. So they've crossed it now. 14.3 kilometers to go. Decathlon, Alpecin, UAE are all the teams prominently at the front. Decathlon have been at the front for about the past 10-15k, doing quite a lot of work. What am I trying to type here? That is what I'm trying to type. What was I going to type there? Whose name? That's who. I'm trying to think who's in there. That's who. That is who. That's who I'm thinking of. Mathieu van der Poel and Wout van Aert beside each other in the peloton having a conversation. That is quite a sight to see there. And who will I add for the last? Who will I add? He won a stage in the Pyrenees, so where's my mouse? So I will add him into this list. I think he deserves it. So that's his favourites for the Pyrenees sorted. So, yeah, while I'm here, let's do I've just seen the commentators do it, so I'm going to do a quick recap of this year's Tirreno Adriatico. So we had stage 1, which was Philippe Ogana's day. He'd had a brilliant time trial, so he won stage 1. Then we had stage 2, which was it? Oh, that was that. What was it? See the stage numbers, I can't remember them, but that was the stage. Mathieu van der Poel, Isaac Del Toro, and Pellizzari all sprinted, the three of them together for the line, and Van der Poel ended up winning. That was a brilliant stage. Stage 3 was the first sprint stage where Tobias Lund Andersen, he came out on top. Arnaud Delis second, Philipsen third. Then we move on to stage 4. Stage 4 seen Mathieu van der Poel win again in the mini Milan-San Remo stage. Well, the end of it sort of looked along the lines of something like it, but he ended up winning that with Pellizzari in second and Johannesson in third. Stage 5 seen the breakaway win for the first time and the only time in this year's Tirreno, with Michael Valgren winning. He came first for EF Education. Isaac Del Toro in second and Jorgensen in third. And then obviously yesterday's stage, the final day for the GC, which Isaac Del Toro wrapped it up after he came first. Tobias Hallen Johannesson with an impressive stage as well from him. Impressive week in general from him. He came second. And Matteo Jorgensen in third. So that is a recap of all the stages. Let's have a look at the jerseys. As As UAE and Visma move to the front of the peloton now, we're coming into the final 11k. So we are. So we're almost at the 10k mark. But let's have a look at the jerseys. So GC, obviously, Isaac Del Toro wrapped it up. He is first in the GC. The points jersey, though, Isaac Del Toro first in it. He has 36 points, and then second was Tobias Hallen Johannesson. He's 32. That's why he was sprinting for the intermediate points. I think he needed 4 more, so if he had won that intermediate sprint, he would have won the points jersey. He only came third, which granted him 1 point. But how many did he get for a win here? I doubt Van der Poel when he's on 24 points. But I think if he wins, what do you get? 12 points because he's won 2 stages. Oh no, one was at the top of a hill. My bad. But I think if Van der Poel wins a stage, he could get the points jersey, but I highly doubt it. He'll be lead out for Jasper Philipsen. The KOM jersey, it goes to Diego Pablo Sevilla of Team Pulte Visit Malta. He gets that jersey with 33 points. Second was Juan Bu. He got 21 points. And then Timo Killick at Visma. He was on 17 points. The youth jersey, Isaac Del Toro takes it. 42 seconds down. In second is Pellizzari, and then Magnus Sheffield in third, 2:02 down. What about the team? Red Bull Bor Hansgrohe seems to be the best team in this with EF Education, 8 minutes and 17 down. But we're into the final 10k now of the final stage of this year's Tirreno Adriatico. I'll add this in anyway. So put a poll in the chat there if you do want to vote, up to yourself. But my prediction is Jasper Philipsen. Like I said earlier, I was torn between him and Tobias Lund Andersen, but I did go with Jasper Philipsen, as I think that Alpecin are going to get the lead out right after a not so good lead out in stage 3. So we've got UAE at the front of the peloton here with 9k to go. Del Toro's sat in third wheel. Obviously trying to get in that, the 3 kilometer safe zone for the time. I can't even think of the word, but peloton splits down the middle. UAE, Decathlon, Picnic Post, Alpecin and Ineos on the left, as well as Little Trek. On the right is Bahrain, Pulte, Visit Malta, Visma. Sam Welsford as well for Ineos. He's someone to look out for. So he is. What did he get in? I think he beat Milan in stage 3. Yeah, he did. He got 6th. So we've got 8.2k to go. Arnaud Delis, Lotto Intermarché seem to be getting him into position, but I don't think he's going to have the legs for it. He had quite a lot. As Uno X attack out the front, who's that? Who is it? I'm going to guess Abrahamson maybe? But is he not in the Paris-Nice? Oh, I can't even. But 2 Uno X riders attack out the front. Pulte Visit Malta rider attacks out the back or out the front with them, but he's got quite a gap. Alessandro Tonelli for Pulte Visit Malta trying to bridge across to the Uno X riders. I think it is Abrahamson. Let me check. Is he riding it? Yeah, Abrahamson. So yeah, Jonas Abrahamson attacked at the front with the teammate. The teammate drops off, and it is Jonas Abrahamson on his own now. 7.1 kilometers to go. He's got about a 5-second gap on the peloton with Visma Lease Bike at the front with 4 riders. UAE have 3 riders, but not a lot of the sprinters teams at the front here at the moment chasing him down. Abrahamson obviously in a break a couple of times during the week, and he's dying for a stage win here. Like he really wants one. Uno X haven't got a win at this Tirreno. Tobias Allen Johannesson got 4th twice. He got a 3rd as well, and then he got 2nd there yesterday. So just one. He's got the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. He just needs the first. So they're just showing the replay here of the attack. Quite a smart attack, because there was it a split in the road, or was it a narrowing of the road? It was a narrowing of the road, so they did do a good attack there, Uno X, with where they chose to attack from. But 6.2 with Jonas Abrahamson out the front. He's doing 60 kilometers an hour. As we see one quick step rider with a Q36.5 rider move to the front of the peloton to pace Visma and Decathlon riders on their back. Lotto and Mercier coming up the right hand side of the peloton with three riders, and that is Arnaud Delis on the back of them. Alpecin are there as well. But it's 10 seconds now Abrahamson has on the front of the peloton. If he can get this. But we are there's not... Quickstep has one rider. Decathlon aren't really at the front, chasing him down. Alpecin aren't really at the front. But with 5.5k to go with 10 seconds, so the peloton may need to get into their positions here before the start of this, because it does get pretty narrow here towards when they're coming into the final kilometre. So if Abrahamson can get in on his own, see Visma. There's one Q36.5. As Visma moved to the front now with 3 riders. None of them are Wout van Aert, but then there's 2 decathlon riders to the right of them, so there isn't really a predominant team at the front, for a sprinters team. Like I said, there's the favourites on the screen: Paul Magnier, Tobias Lund Andersen, Jasper Phillips, and Jonathan Milan, and Wout van Aert. I came up with them. They're in no particular order, but I didn't put Arnaud Delis in there because he dropped out the back at the start, and he had quite a bit of time to bring it back. But he did get back, but don't know if he'll have the legs. But the peloton seems to be getting into their lead-outs now. I can see Picnic Post. There's 2 riders for Alpecin. Del Toro's still at the front. Ineos are on the right-hand side with 3 riders, I think. Picnic Post are there for Bittner, aren't they? Yeah, Pavel Bittner. So that's who they're leading out for. But Abrahamson's still out the front. 10 seconds on the peloton with 4.2k to go. See if he wins this. This will be brilliant if he wins this. But the lead-outs are starting to form now. So from left to right, we've got Bahrain and sprinkle of different teams, but then the next prominent one is Decathlon, sort in the middle. Picnic Post, 5 riders right in the centre. Then to the right of them, we have Alpecin with 3 riders and Ineos with maybe 3 or 4 riders. But 3.8k, and it has moved up to 11 seconds. So he's going to get caught on the line, isn't he? He's not going to have enough legs to get... He'll get into the final kilometre. He'll get into a good position after the turns. Bahrain moved to the front now on the left-hand side with 3 riders. They have Phil Bauhaus, don't they? Or is that in the Paris-Nice? Who are they? I don't know who they're sprinting or they're leading out. Bahrain, but they are at the front. On the right, the peloton splits down the middle yet again. Bahrain, Visma on the left. Ineos, Picnic Post, Decathlon, Alpecin all on the right. Tudor are there as well, as Abrahamson goes under the 3 kilometre banner with 11 seconds on the peloton. Who's Tudor? Tudor is... I don't know either. Luca Mazzato maybe? Yeah, Luca Mazzato for Tudor, so that's who they are. Trying to get into position. 3k to go. Well, 2.8. Picnic Post are at the front. Well, 1 Picnic rider is at the front, out of the saddle, trying to get Abrahamson back so they can get Bittner in a good position here. Crash on the final, one of the final corners. 2.6k to go. Massive crash. 2 Alpecin riders down. Quick Step rider down. Phillipson's down. So who's that? Phillipson down. There is a... Who is that? Is that Paul Magnier? Paul Magnier's down. Paul Magnier has crashed and isn't moving. I think it's him. So massive crash. So it looks like Abrahamson is in a good position here to win this. I hope that Paul Magnier and Phillipson. So the crash, Phillipson, Magnier and Plankart from Alpecin. That is not good. That is my prediction out of it. But Paul Magnier didn't look too good there on that crash. 10 seconds, 2 kilometres to go. Abrahamson still out the front. That isn't good. 2 big main sprinters crashing at the end there. Coming into the final 2 kilometres for them. But we've got Tudor at the front of this peloton. 2 Alpecin riders. So is that... Who's going to sprint? There's NSN. Tobias Andersen's still there. He's got a teammate with him. But no one is really pulling at the front here. We've got 2 Tudor riders at the front. But... once they lose that Tudor teammate, there isn't really... And NSN have 1 teammate. Pulte Visit Malta have 3 riders here at the front. Arnaud Delis is still there. If Arnaud Delis wins this after his... doing all that time chasing back. But he's 9 seconds. Abrahamson, 1.3k to go. He's still out the front. You can see the peloton behind him, but I don't... Ghana at the front now with Welsford on his wheel. That is someone you want leading you out. As they get into the final 1 kilometre here, 7 seconds Abrahamson has on the peloton. There's a bit of a half a roundabout. Come on, Abrahamson. Come on. Abrahamson goes under the banner. The peloton now go under the banner. It looks like he's going to be caught when they do get out the sprint. But Ghana straight at the front. Welsford on his wheel with 2 quick step riders, picnic post riders, someone from Lotto Intermarché. If Abrahamson can get these corners right, he might go on to win it. But I think Sam Welsford is in a pretty good position to win this stage here. 4 seconds the gap now on Abrahamson. Oh no, he's going to get caught. He's going to get caught. Ghana's still at the front. Someone from Quickstep in second. Welsford sat in third wheel, but Abrahamson's still at the front. He's struggling. He's done. It looks like he's done. Ghana's still at the front. This is a massive push from Ghana. Welsford obviously looking for his second World Tour victory of the year. As Little Trek on the right-hand side of Ghana, they're pushing up with a teammate. Is that Jonathan Milan? It is Jonathan Milan. So Ghana seems to be done. Someone from Little Trek. Jonathan Milan launches. Welsford launches, but it is Milan at the front. Welsford on the right-hand side. Jonathan Milan just to the left of him. Jaco coming up the middle, but it looks like Jonathan Milan is going to take it. Someone from Quickstep on the left-hand side. Welsford on the right, and Jonathan Milan takes it. Jonathan Milan wins again. He won this stage last year. What a sprint. Fair play to Little. They came out of nowhere there. Whoever that teammate was for Jonathan Milan brought him from nowhere and just took him straight to the front. Milan launched, and that was that. I think Welsford ends up getting second. It was Edward Toons from Little Trek. That was who launched him. What a sprint from Jonathan Milan. Proving yet again why he is currently the best sprinter in the world at the moment. Commentator said 3 in a row. So did he win this last year? Yeah, I knew he won it last year, this stage. I know that, but did he win 2024? Yeah, 3 in a row. He's won this stage 3 times. I hope Philipsen and Magne are okay. It was a pretty hectic final 5 kilometres. Jonas Abrahamson obviously caught within the final 500 metres. Gonna wait for the preliminary top 10. See what that is looking like. Welsford was there. There was someone from Jaco, someone from Quickstep. Could have been, I don't know who it could have been. Stuyven's riding the Paris-Nice, so I don't think it was him unless he is riding this. I can't remember. Del Toro's crossing the line now. Oh. Yeah, so Del Toro, obviously that crash happened within the final 3K, so I don't think any time will be taken off him. He crosses the finish line with 3 of his teammates. Philipsen as well. So Philipsen's back on the bike. I think Magne is back on the bike. There's 2 quick-step riders there. I think one could be Magne, I'm not sure. So yeah, the commentators confirmed that Del Toro was in the safety zone, so no time is taken off him. But here we go, preliminary results for the preliminary top 10 for the final stage of the Tirreno, with Jonathan Milan in first, Sam Welsford second, Lorenz Rex in third for Quickstep, NSN's Oded Kogut. So I don't know if that's right. Picnic Post is Bittner. Decathlon, Tobiaslon Anderson. Andres Foldagger of Jaco. Arnaud Daly gets a top 10 after doing all that work during the day. He gets 8th. Giovanni Lonardi from Pole Divas at Malta gets 9th. And Ivan Garcia Cortina from Movistar gets 10th. So that wraps up the top 10 for the final stage of the Tirreno Adriatico. Del Toro obviously winning. It was confirmed yesterday, but that crash, he didn't crash, there was someone crashed in front of him, but he finishes a minute and 30 down, something like that, but he was in the safety zone, so no time taken off him. Philipsen and Paul Magne went down, unfortunately, with about 3k to go. There's only 3 riders that crashed. It was Plankart from Alpecin, Philipsen and Paul Magne. The 3 of them went down. Abrahamson, he did a breakaway, was holding 10 seconds, and then in the final kilometre he got caught. They're just showing the sprint again where Ghana's at the front, pulling quite hard, and then up the right hand side is Edward Toons of Little Trek, who comes from nowhere and launches Jonathan Milan. They're showing the bird's eye view of it here. So Rex on the wheel of Milan trying to get around him, just doesn't have enough power. Sam Welsford then tries to come up the left hand side of Jonathan Milan and just can't get there in the end. But it was a good sprint. It was a good sprint seeing two of the favourites dropped out. It would have been better to see them two in there to see what would have happened. But Jonathan Milan gets his hat-trick. He won this year, last year, and 2024. So, yeah, that's that. Let's go back to... I want to go over to the Paris-Nice here. So I do. No, that's back on the Tirreno. So let me try and get over to the Paris-Nice. So I'm live watching the Paris-Nice now. This is 44.4 kilometers to go. Danny Martinez from Red Bull is out the back of the peloton. He is a minute and a half down on the peloton. The peloton are 32 seconds on Valentin Paripantre. He was out the front on his own. So I need to change this all over here. Hold up. I will end this poll and then I will get another poll up for the Paris-Nice towards the end of the stage. But I need to change this. I need to change this title. So that is the title change. Just putting the Paris-Nice, obviously the first name now. Let me get the... I need to change this as well. Let's change that to the Paris-Nice. Stage 8, and we have got 40 kilometers to go. Well, 43, but I mean 40k pretty much. Let's get that up. And then let us get that up. So that is the GC for the Paris-Nice this year. I think actually it has changed a tad bit. I think the time for Jonas Vingegaard has increased. Yeah, it has. Let me change that. It actually went down. It did say 20. It was 26 hours, but now it's 22. Don't know why. Don't know how that works, but just changing the GC there. If you are just joining, we have got 42.1 kilometers of the Paris-Nice. The Tirreno just finished. Jonathan Milan wins it. Jasper Philipsen and Manier crashing in the final 3 kilometers. They both got back on their bikes and finished the race, but in the Paris-Nice, 41.8 kilometers, Valentin Paripantre is out on his own. He has got 28 seconds on the peloton, and then is it Daniel or Danny? Daniel Felipe Martinez of Red Bull. He is out the back of the peloton. He is currently a minute and 30 down on the peloton. So Visma at the front of the peloton here, trying to bring back Paripantre and keep Jonas Vingegaard in a good position for this descent. I'll show you where they are. I need to change this as well. Yeah, so they are currently sat. Let me get the big red arrow out. They're currently sat about here on the descent after this. Category 1 climb. So they're just near the bottom of it. But that is currently where they are sat in the race. I think I did the favourites, didn't I? I've done a couple favourites for this stage. That is my favourite. No particular order. It's just actually I think I didn't do Astana's thing right. Let me just double check. No, I didn't. Of course I didn't. So I will go through them here. I think that's right for Astana. Don't know, but it's what I found. So I've got Jonas Vingegaard, obviously favourite. He's won this Paris-Nice. So I've got him as favourite for this stage. I think he's going to win the stage. I said he is going to attack on the final Category 1 climb. That's my prediction. But I've got him in the favourites for the stage. I've also got Valentin Paripantre, who is currently out in the break at the moment by himself. Then I've got Lenny Martinez from Bahrain Victorious. who's been very good this week. Kevin Vacklin for Ineos, also very good. And then Harold Tejada, who obviously won a stage there 2 days ago. Won stage 6, so he did. So I've just got him in there because he has won a stage on good form, but he did crash in stage 7. Is he still riding? That'll be quite bad if he isn't. I think he is still racing. Let me check. Yeah, he is. Or is he? Please tell me he is. Yeah, he is. He finished the stage and he is still racing. So there was another handful of dropouts there in this before the start of this stage. We had Cess Ball of Decathlon dropout, Callum Scottson of Decathlon dropout, Alex Kirsch from Cofidis, he dropped out, Ewan Costiu from Groupama drops out, Joshua Giddings at Lotto Intermarché drops out, and NSN Cycling Guillaume Boivin drops out. They're just showing Valentin Paripantry on the screen descending here, and it is very sketchy. He's nearly went over the side twice, and but he makes it to the bottom of the descent in one piece. 26 seconds up the road from the peloton, and Daniel Martinez is a minute and 49 down on Paripantry, so it's a minute and 25 down on the peloton. With the, let me get the GC, so Steinhauser could potentially move into second place. I doubt Kevin Vacklin, he will overtake Felipe Martinez, depending on the they've a wee mound here to climb, and then there's obviously the category 1 climb, so it depends on that. But I think Felipe Martinez, he will probably end up in third. I don't know if Red Bull can bring him back, but I can't see attacks happening on this final category 1 climb where Daniel Martinez is going to get caught out and obviously lose more time. 38.3 kilometers to go. If you are just joining, the Tirreno is just wrapped up. Jonathan Milan has won. He wins it for a third year in a row, the final stage. So he wins it. Sam Welsford gets second, and Rex from Quickstep gets third. So he does. Pardon me. Philipsen and Magne both crash in the final 3 kilometers. Philipsen, Magne and Plankart are the only 3 riders that went down. But they all got back on the bike and finished the stage, which was good to see. But it was just unfortunate that they weren't there for the final. Jonas Abrahamsen, he attacked out the front within the final 10k. I think it must have been about 7 or 8k to go. He attacked out the front and held about 11 seconds until the final kilometre, where Ghana closed the gap and he got caught within 500 metres. Edward Toons from Little Trek comes out of nowhere with Milan on his wheel, and he launches Milan, and then Milan goes on to win it. But yeah, that is the roundup for the Tirreno. The Tirreno's GC, it has changed, well, not that much, but Jorgensen moves up into second. Pellizzari drops to third because Jorgensen won the intermediate time check, or the intermediate. I keep saying that when that's a time trial thing. The intermediate sprint, he got 3 bonus seconds, so he moves up on Pellizzari. So Jorgensen gets second and Pellizzari gets third in the GC, but Del Toro wins it. Second World Tour stage race win of the year. Obviously the UAE Tour and now the Tirreno. So he is on fire at the moment. But that is how the GC stands for the Paris-Nice. Not much has changed in the past couple of days. Positioning, I mean, I think the only time the positioning changes is when someone drops out and someone moves into their position. But the time is the only thing that is changing significantly. It just keeps on increasing. So it does. Oh, pardon me. But we've got Visma at the front, still pacing. They're about 25 seconds down. Jonas Vingegaard is sat in second wheel. I want to do a quick recap just of the full Paris-Nice. So we had stage 1, which saw Luc Lamperti win. He had a very good sprint from AF Education, couple crashes in the final kilometre as well, but Luc Lamperti ends up winning. Stage 2 seen Max Cantor of Astana. There was another mishap in the final kilometre, which seen, I think, Fretin from Cofidis sort of threw everyone else off in the peloton. There was no crash, but sort of nearly went off and wobbled, and the peloton sort of split up. So I think Benem Girmay got caught in it. The team time trial, now that was actually very exciting. Ineos wins it. Little Trek in second and Decathlon third. Visma in fourth, but Decathlon get third because of Dan Hula. Dan Hula with a massive effort to get them into third. They were virtually first after Decathlon finished. Little Trek and Ineos obviously hadn't started yet. But then stage 4, the turning point in this Paris-Nice, where we've seen echelons, crashes, more crashes, and we've seen Wanayusu pull out of the final, why am I saying final? Pull out of the stage in the yellow jersey, so he had to abandon the race. It was an awful day for the riders. Stage 5, seeing Jonas Vingegaard attack on his own and just obliterate the race to pieces, taking 2 minutes out of everyone else. Stage 6, Harold Tejada from Astana, he gets his win after having an impressive season as well. Obviously doing well in the UAE Tour and continuing to do well. He came third in stage 3, so he got his win in stage 6. Stage 7, yesterday's stage, that was the stage where started at 100, well, the race didn't start yet, but it was released 139, I think it was, kilometres. Cut the last climb out down to 120, and then before the race even started, they cut it again down to 47k, so at least some race went on. But Dorian Goudon of Ineos wins that, with Girmay coming in second. Goudon, obviously, who's had a brilliant Paris-Nice as well. He came fourth, second. He won the team time trial, and then he finally gets his win after an impressive lead out from Ineos. But that leads us on to today. 35.9k to go in the final stage of the Paris-Nice. The peloton is 15 seconds down on Paris-Pantre, and Danny Martinez is a minute and 33 down on the peloton, or sorry, a minute and 15 down on the peloton, a minute and 30 down on Paris-Pantre. But yeah, it has been quite an interesting Paris-Nice, so it has. Obviously, there's been, I swear there's been near 50 riders drop out. So there has. Let me see the exact number. Exactly 50 riders have dropped out of the Paris-Nice. The most standout ones being Wanayusu, stage 4, Dan Hula in stage 4. We had Brandon McNulty in stage 4. Tom Scoynes of Little Trek, stage 5. Casper van Uden of Picnic, stage 5. David Gaudu of Groupama, stage 5. Pavel Sivakov, UAE, stage 5. Fretin of Cofidis, stage 5. Ivan Romeo of Movistar, stage 6. Oscar Onley, stage 6. Tim van Dijk of Red Bull, stage 7. Max Cantor, the winner of stage 2. What's it, stage 2? I think, yeah, stage 2. He pulls out in stage 7. Cesc Ball, who came third yesterday, he didn't start today, so he pulls out in stage 8. But the fact Pascal Ackermann as well, when did he drop out? Stage 5, so quite a lot of abandons. 50 riders abandon the race due to weather, crashes, illness probably as well. But yeah, like I said, quite an interesting Paris-Nice. So we've got 35 kilometers to go now. Let me change that. So we're into the final 30k. They're just coming over the second here. Well, let me get the red arrow out. They're just sitting about here, just about to hit the descent on this hill or mountain or whatever you want to call it. But that is where they're currently sat now. Once they finish that descent, it is the foot of the. Why do I keep yawning? Oh, it's the foot of the Côte de Linguado. That's the final climb. Category 1 climb, I will give information on that climb as we are about to hit it, but just looking at it, it's 3.3 kilometers, has an average of 8.2%, but I will give more specific percentages when we get closer to it. Parapantra is onto the descent now. Still out on his own, 12 seconds ahead of the peloton. But the way it's looking, I don't think Daniel Felipe Martinez is getting onto the back of this, onto the back of the peloton. And I think he will lose even more time because attacks are going to happen on the Côte de Lingurado. I think the attacks are going to happen on it, and the time gap is going to increase even more. Right, let me check the. I know we're watching cycling, but I need to check the Man United score. Half time in 0-0. More disappointment there, but yeah, I'm going to assume nothing has happened in that. I might stick it on just so I've got it on my ear so I know what's going on in it. But 0-0, not good. So we've got Kevin Vacquelin here. They're interviewing him. Favourite for the stage? Let me get my favourites up actually. Showed them earlier, but I will show them again. These are no particular order. They're just names I pulled together. Jonas Vingegaard, obviously, you know. But Jonas Vingegaard, he's my prediction to win it. I think he's attacking on the final Category 1 climb. And I think he'll go solo, actually. I think no one will be able to stick with him. Why do I keep yawning? Oh my god. And I think he's going to make a statement going solo and winning the Paris-Nice in style. And then I've got Parapantra in there. He's in the breakaway, but I don't know if he's going to have enough legs once he gets caught to attack with Jonas Vingegaard or the others even on the final Category 1 climb. I've got Lenny Martinez for Bahrain. Been very good. Obviously, he got caught in the echelons in stage 4. That is why his time is like sitting at about 7 minutes in GC. But Kevin Vacquelin as well, another one that got caught in the echelons, but like Lenny Martinez has shown real promise during the week of the Pyrenees with attacks, and just in stage 4 as well. When they dropped so far back, he didn't give up, and he still rode a really good race. I think he came in the top 10 as well. And then Harold Tejada, I just added him in there because he won stage 5. He did crash yesterday, but didn't pull out or anything, didn't abandon. So he's still in the race, and because he won stage 5, I just thought I would add him there. So I'll get the poll going. Why not? Get the poll going. Winner of stage 8. Winner of stage 8. Vingegaard. Vacquelin. Lenny. And other. So there is a poll up there. If you want to vote on it, go ahead. But my vote is going towards Vingegaard for this one. So it is. 30.9 kilometers to go. They're still on the descent here. 7 seconds on the peloton now, so Parapantra is going to get caught here pretty soon. The big names still in the peloton. I don't know if anyone else has dropped out, but the big names are obviously Vingegaard still there, Carlos Rodriguez of Ineos, Kevin Vacquelin of Ineos, Lenny Martinez. Is it Martinez or Martinez? I don't know. One of the two. That's why I keep chopping and changing. But Lenny Martinez of Bahrain, he's still there. Nicolas Prudhomme of Decathlon, their GC rider for this, he's still there. He's 42 minutes down. Harold Tejada's still there. Matisse Rondel at Shooter, he's another one who's been very good at this Paris-Nice. He's still there. George Steinhauser, AF Education, is still there. And Andreas Leknessem, Uno X, is still there as well. So I think it is... I think it is just sitting waiting until this final climb. They're about halfway down this descent, and then there's a bit of a flat section, and then they hit the climb, but I don't expect much to happen. I expect Parapantra to be caught here. It's at 4 seconds now. The Danny Martinez group is 1:11 down, so they could actually catch them, but I think by the time they catch them, there will be attacks on the final climb, and it'll be done for him. They're going about 30 kilometers down this descent, which is actually surprising. I would have expected them to be doing more, to be honest. But I think it is now just the waiting game. the waiting game for this descent at the end, and then the final climb to start. There is another climb at the end, though, as you can see, that intermediate sprint. It's 1.4 kilometers long, has an average of 4.5%. So that is what's after the Category 1 climb. It's within the final 10 kilometers. I don't understand why I keep yawning. So, yeah. That is how it is looking. Got Milan San Remo next week. I will have I'm not even focused anymore. Am I going to get focused? There we go, focused again. Milan San Remo next week. I'm live for it. I will have a preview out at the start of next week, either tomorrow or Tuesday. The preview for it will go out. Not going to be a long preview because it is pretty much mano a mano, which is Van der Poel versus Pogačar. It'll just be between them two, unless there's crashes, etc. But maybe Filippo Ganna could be in there as well, like last year. But I think it's going to be left to Pogačar and Van der Poel for the Milan San Remo. We've also got pro races as well. Let me actually have a look. Why did I say that? Because I'm not going to be able to pronounce any of these pro races, but we've got the Milano Tirreno. I know how to pronounce that now. Milano Tirreno is on Tuesday, I think. Then Wednesday. Then there's another race in Belgium, pro race. A cobble race on Wednesday as well. It's a pro race. And then there's the Grand Prix de Dignan in France. It's on a Thursday. That's another pro race. And then there is another pro race on the 20th. So that's what's Friday. So there's pro races Tuesday, Wednesday. Pro races Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then with the Milano San Remo on the Saturday. What's after the Milano San Remo? It's on the Saturday. And then on the Monday is the Volta Catalunya. So it is. That is a good one. So it is. So it is indeed. Who's riding the Catalunya? I'm at a break here, so need to think of something to talk about. Riding the Volta Catalunya, Riccatello and Gal at Decathlon. Obviously nothing's 100% confirmed, but this is just what is on PCS. Richard Carapaz as well, David Gaudu, Carlos Rodriguez, Egan Bernal, Oscar Onley, Dorian Gaudu. Any of us have a strong team this year, like. I'm just talking in general, they have a strong team. Utebrooks from Movistar, he's finally riding Mass as well. He's riding it. Derek G. West of Little Trek. Valentin Paripantry, Mikel Landa, Remco Evenepoel, Florian Lipowitz, Vingegaard, Joao Almeida, Pidcock. So it is looking to be a good Catalunya here, with quite a lot of big names in it. And then after is that after? Or during the Catalunya, there is all the other classics. Why do I keep talking? I can't stop yawning. Can he stop yawning? What date's this on? So the Catalunya ends on the 29th. So, the Ronde van Bruges, E3 Saxo, Gent-Wevelgem, and how that is it? So Ronde van Bruges, E3 Saxo, and Gent-Wevelgem are all happening as the Catalunya is happening. So that'll be a busy week there. Then after that is Dwars-Door-Vlaanderen, Tour of Flanders, Itzulia Basque Country, and the Paris-Roubaix. Another busy week. So a couple of busy weeks here. Obviously next week it sort of drops off until the Milan San Remo, but then after that it for the next 2 weeks is just pure racing, which is good for us cycling fans. So according to PCS, Paripantry is still out the front, 4 seconds on the peloton. There's 5 kilometers to the foot of the Côte de Linguador. Trying to think, what was I going to say there? Got a yawn again. Oh, shocking. Oh, yes, I was going to look at the profile for the climb coming up. Okay, so this is the profile for the climb that is about to happen, about 4.5 kilometers towards it. So they've got it split into 0.7 kilometers. So first 0.7, 6.4%. Then the next one is 11.7%. The middle of the climb from 1.4 to 2.1 is about 5.7. After it, 2.1 to 2.8, 10.7% averages, and then the final 500 meters is about 6%. So yeah, I think and I hope attacks are going to happen. Obviously, a lot better weather today at the Pyrenees. It was meant to be. Someone told me on TikTok that it was meant to be really, really bad, like it has been all week. But I think we're finally getting a race to the sun. Finally getting one of them. Parapentry has the peloton just behind him in his sights. Danny Martinez 1 minute and 4 seconds down. I think the peloton is actually only these 22 riders. So it is. The peloton doesn't look that big. I need to wait to see if a camera goes on them. But Red Bull have 2 riders with Danny Martinez, Lawrence Pithy and Vlasov. There's also a Total Energies rider there as well with him, but he's just sitting at the back. But yeah, the peloton seems to be quite small. So these are, well, PCS says there's 22 riders in it. So I'll go through all 22. With Vingegaard, Amaral and Campenerts of Visma, Rodriguez and Vauquelin of Ineos, Marc Soler of UAE, Lenny Martinez of Bahrain, Remy Cavagna and Quinten Pasher of Groupama, Cepeda at Movistar, Prodholm of Decathlon. Then Astana have 3 riders, Tejada, Van Beekem and Vinokurov. The 3 from Astana. Ion Izagiri from Cofidis, Matisse Rondel and Will Barta of Tudor, Alex Bodin and George Steinheiser of AF Education, Andreas Leknessem of UnoX and Matteo Vachar of Total Energies and De Bruyne from Alpecin. So they are the 22 riders in this peloton. Sorry, just replying to a message. But yeah, 20, I should have changed. It still says 35k on my screen. Of course it does. I always forget to change it. We have 22.9 kilometers to go. So I will change it. They're just going around a roundabout here as they go back up the opposite way. So they've just done the whole roundabout back up the opposite way. Visma are at the front of this peloton. Danny Martinez is 45 seconds down now on this peloton. Parapantra has been caught. You're just seeing there on the bird's eye, Martinez passed the peloton on the same side, well, the opposite side of the road. But it is not long for the Côte du Linguador. That is probably butchered in pronunciation, but that is what my eyeballs are seeing. Arietta of UAE is there, which has just been updated. So who else has just been added? Obviously Parapantra. Caruso of Bahrain is there for Lenny Martinez. So Arietta and Caruso being added by PCS. With Tudor moving to one Tudor rider moving to the front, Ineos on their wheel, and then I think that's Matisse Rondel on the wheel of the Ineos rider, but Visma still 3 riders at the front as they hit the foot off the final climb now. So this is where it is hopefully going to get interesting with a couple of attacks. Victor Campenerts at the front of this group. We've got Carlos Rodriguez on his wheel. Everyone's sort of getting out of the saddle, trying to get good positioning, but no, that is Vauquelin actually on his wheel. George Steinheiser of AF Education in the white jersey, about 4 or 5 riders back on the right-hand side. Vingegaard is on Vauquelin's wheel. Caruso is moving Lenny Martinez up. A lot of riders dropping out the back already. Parapantra has dropped. Who's that? 35. Arietta has dropped. Or 33, wasn't it? I don't know. Danny Felipe Martinez of Red Bull. He now hits the foot of the climb with his 2 teammates, Pithy and Vlasov. They're going to try and power up this keep the time loss as little as possible. He's currently 49 seconds down. Victor Campenaerts still at the front for Visma. Vauquelin on the wheel, Vingegaard on his wheel, Steinhauser on Vingegaard's wheel, Lenny Martinez beside Steinhauser. Mathieu Rondel is there as well. Alex Bodin of AF Education is at the back of Mathieu Rondel. But we're going to wait for the first attack, and I wonder who it is going to be. I have a feeling it's going to be Vauquelin because he seems to be quite far up. The three Astana riders are coming up on the right-hand side. They're sitting, the front of their lead-out is beside Steinhauser, 5 riders back. As Vingegaard comes up the left-hand side of Vauquelin, locks onto the back of the wheel of Victor Campenaerts. Lenny Martinez and Vauquelin beside each other on the wheel of Vingegaard. Harold Tejada now comes up and sits beside Steinhauser behind Vauquelin and Lenny Martinez, who are all 4 of them are behind Vingegaard. So I think it is, once Campenaerts done, Vingegaard is going to launch, but Campenaerts is doing a massive pull up this mountain. Leknessem drops out for Cepeda, Leknessem, and there is someone from Groupama dropping out the back of this group. De Bruyne from Alpecin dropping out the back as well. Is that Marc Soler of UAE? But Campenaerts gets out of the saddle, pushing more. Sitting about 12% now. And gaps are starting to create. So we've got Victor Campenaerts, Vingegaard, Lenny Martinez on his wheel. There's the gap from Martinez to Harold Tejada, Steinhauser and Vauquelin. And then there's a gap from them 3 to the rest. But Vingegaard now attacks with Lenny Martinez in his wheel. Can Lenny Martinez stay on the wheel of Jonas Vingegaard in this climb? They're 13% right now. But Lenny is the only one on his wheel. Harold Tejada sat in about 3rd. Quite a bit back. But Steinhauser is trying to get across to Harold Tejada. Vauquelin is behind Steinhauser. They're showing the back here with Prodom and Carlos Rodriguez dropping as well. But it's Lenny and Vingegaard as Vingegaard, they're riding side by side at the moment. Vingegaard now goes to the front. He will be looking to drop Lenny here. I think he's quite surprised that Lenny went with him. So we've got Vingegaard, Lenny, quite a bit back is Harold Tejada, and then about 5 bike lengths from Harold Tejada is Steinhauser, Mathieu Rondel, and Vauquelin. But Lenny Martinez, is it, the commentator just said it, was it Martinez or Martinez? But he's still on the wheel of Vingegaard. 2 kilometers to the top of this climb, so I think the final 2 kilometers are quite difficult as well. Let me double check. Yeah, the final, it eases off for a bit, and then after that we're hitting 10.7 for about the final kilometer of it. Then it eases off in the final 500 meters to around 6.5-7%. But Martinez of Red Bull, 1:11 down from the front, 20k to go. Let me change that. So we've got 20k to go. Still the 2 at the front. They say 3 seconds according to PCS is Vauquelin, Tejada, Rondel, or Mathieu Rondel and Steinhauser. I don't know if Harold Tejada has been caught though. I will wait and see if that has. But Vingegaard out of the saddle, attacking again. Martinez still on the wheel, not letting up. This is good signs from Lenny Martinez here. 1.5k to go. They've hit the 20 kilometer banner now. But they're showing Danny Martinez now, who's 1:13 down. He's just passing all the riders that are currently dropping. But you can't even see the Vauquelin and Tejada group in the distance from Vingegaard and Lenny Martinez. Sitting about 6% on the climb. It ramps up in the final kilometer. There is 1.3, so in the next 300, 400 meters, it ramps up in percentages quite significantly. They're showing the Steinhauser group now, which looks like Ion Izagiri has latched onto the back, as well as Alex Bodin of AF Education. So it is now a group of 6. They are 19 seconds down. So that group consists of, like I just said, Ion Izagiri and Alex Bodin, as well as Steinhauser, Watchalong, Tejada, and Matisse Rondell of Tudor. They're 19 seconds down. Danny Martinez of Red Bull is 1 minute and 20 seconds down. Their final kilometre of this climb here. Vingegaard looks over his left shoulder. Martinez still on his wheel. They're actually quite similar in size, to be honest. Quite similar in size, and they're pushing out that much power. So they're just getting onto the harder section now at the final of this climb, as the group that is chasing hits 1 kilometre to go now as well. Alex Boudon at the front, trying to get Steinhauser back to the Vingegaard group. Ian Izagiri at the back of the group, Tejada in front of him, Matisse Rondell in front of Tejada, and Watchalong in third wheel of the group. Camera's back on the Vingegaard group. They're 26 seconds ahead of the Steinhauser group. Some guy at the side screaming at Lenny Martinez, gives him a high five. But it doesn't look like Vingegaard's dropping him here. It looks like they're going to go together. 650 metres to the top of this climb. They're sitting about 10% now. And neither one of them are showing signs of struggling. Lenny Martinez gets out of the saddle. Still on his wheel though. As Vingegaard gets out of the saddle to attack, Lenny Martinez gets out with him. Still on his wheel. 500 metres here. I wonder if Vingegaard's going to attack here in the final couple hundred metres of this climb. 30 seconds now for the Steinhauser group. 1 minute and 22 for Daniel Felipe Martinez. The second group are now hitting the 500 metre mark. So they're all out of the saddle, trying to close the gap down as much as possible. Kevin Watchalong now moves to the front with Steinhauser on his wheel, Harold Tejada in third, Matisse Rondell fourth, Alex Boudin fifth, and Ion Izagiri in sixth. 18.8k to go. I'm glad it's him and Lenny Martinez, to be honest. Makes it a bit more exciting. The second group is now sitting around 28 to 30 seconds. It's not really increasing much. It's coming down a wee bit and then goes back up to 30. But as I say that, it goes to 31. But the Jonas Vingegaard hits the top of the climb. He secures the polka dot jersey. So he does. Daniel Felipe Martinez now, he's hitting the 500 metre mark. He's 1 minute and 25 down. Vlasov is the teammate in front of him. As Lenny Martinez attacks at the front of this, or the start of this descent, he moves to the front of the group of two. So he does. The second group, 30 seconds down, they've just hit the top of the last category 1 climb now. So it is a descent down to this wee small hill of 1.4 kilometres, averages of 5.5%. And then we're into the final 10k. Well, we will be within the final 10k after that wee hill. But the second group seems to be putting the foot down here and trying to catch the Vingegaard and Martinez group. Martinez still at the front. Looks to be getting some form of a gap on Vingegaard. It's only about 3 bike lengths, maybe 4. Vingegaard gets out of the saddle to try and close this down. But Vingegaard doesn't seem to be dropping anymore. He seems to be closing the gap. I think as Martinez of Red Bull, he is about to cross the top of the climb as well himself. I think, has he, or is he about to do it? Yeah, he's just about to cross it now. They've caught up to Andreas Leknesson of Uno X. Vlasov, the only teammate remaining for Martinez of Red Bull. But the descent, Lenny Martinez isn't holding up on this descent, as there is a gap to Vingegaard, but Vingegaard is still trying to close this gap down. He obviously doesn't want to do too much because, He's won the GC. He's already won 2 stages. He doesn't want to risk that much. But he is closing the gap down. I'd say there's about 3 or 4 bike lengths between them, as Vingegaard is closing it down quite quickly now. But I think if them two come to a sprint, I think my vote is on Vingegaard to win in a sprint in this one. I think if Vingegaard loses a sprint to Lenny Martinez, I think he'll be a bit upset with that. That corner was a bit tight. Vingegaard took that corner a bit tight. Martinez went wide on the corner, but he has closed the gap down a bit. I say there's maybe 1 or 2 bike lengths between them now. But he's at a safe distance where he doesn't really need to. I think he can just sit there with him. The second group, 30 seconds down, they are now at that corner. So that second group consists of Kevin Vauquelin, Harold Tejada, Ion Izagirre, Mathieu Rondel, Alex Bodin and Steinhauser, both off EF Education. So we have 2 riders. Steinhauser's at the front of this group, Tejada second, Vauquelin third, Ion Izagirre in 4th and Bodin in 5th. Rondel seems to have went on his own out the front for... Yeah, there's a gap for Mathieu Rondel, a tutor, out the front of the second group. So there is. Another corner now. This is actually a wet corner. No issues for either Lenny or Jonas. But a gap has opened up again from Lenny to Jonas. But I think once they get to the flat road, Jonas should close it down. But it does seem quite to be a slippy descent. There's dry patches, and then, when they get the corners and such, the corners seem to be a bit wet. So not too many risks being taken from Jonas. Lenny Martinez, obviously he's throwing the kitchen sink at it because he wants a win here. He won at last year's Paris-Nice and he wants another win at this one. Jonas Vingegaard, he'll be going for his hat-trick. So he will. We're into the final 15 kilometers now. So let me have a look. As I said, Jonas Vingegaard, he wins the polka dot jersey. But let me have a look and see how much he won it by. So add 8 onto that. I could get 34. Yeah, so he's first with 34. Casper Pedersen in second with 18. So that is the... So polka dot jersey wrapped up. The points jersey, Gudon is in it with 55 points. Lamperti is in second with 51. I think Gudon is winning that. And then the youth jersey, Steinhauser in first, Kevin Vauquelin in second, 19 seconds down. I think Steinhauser should end with that. Still on the descent here though, 14.3k to go. Lenny Martinez has a decent gap on Vingegaard, but Vingegaard should close it when they get to the flat. They're showing the chasing group here, which I think Mathieu Rondel still isn't in, so he seems to be out on his own at the front of this group. Never mind to see him now, he's not that far. But Steinhauser's chasing him down with Harold Tejada on his wheel, Vauquelin in third, Izagirre in fourth, and Alex Bodin in fifth. So yeah, we're coming to the bottom of the descent now. Vingegaard closes the gap down and he's onto the wheel of Lenny Martinez now. 72 kilometers an hour they're doing. Oh, yeah. The commentators just said it there, and I've just clocked it. I said the points jersey, but the intermediate sprint is coming up, and the end of the stage obviously as well. So Vingegaard sat on 40 points, 15 down on Gudon. So I think Vingegaard is going to go into the. I think Vingegaard's going into the points jersey, so he's going to win the yellow jersey, the green jersey, and the polka dot jersey. As Vingegaard now moves in front of Lenny Martinez, as both of them are working together. The two of them together are doing 57 kilometers an hour. There's 5.5k to the intermediate sprint. The intermediate sprint, like on your screen, you can see is up a small hill. It is 1.4 kilometers long and has an average of 4.5%. 24 seconds now in the Kevin Vacquelin group. So they're going to close. It looks like they may close that down. If Alex Bodin for AF Education has any legs left, he should go to the front for Steinhauser and close this gap down for them. But that's if they can catch them. Danny Martinez of Red Bull, 1:38 down now. So his time has increased. But yeah. 67% of the vote are going for Vingegaard. 33 are going for Lenny Martinez. I think if it does come down to these two in a sprint, I think Vingegaard is going to get it. They've just shown the camera. You can see Vingegaard and Lenny Martinez up the road on the Kevin Vacquelin group. So you can. And they all seem to be working together as well. So with 25 seconds in that hill coming up, I think they might catch them. They do have the numbers, and that is a perfect group to catch someone, 5-6 people on it. And that are working together. I think if it was a group of maybe 15 or something, I don't think they would have caught him. It's something similar to the Strade Bianche, where Pogacar had a minute on the chasing group, and there was about 4 people working together. But then once them 4 people caught, and the group became about 20, everyone stopped working together, and Pogacar's time increased significantly. So I think the 6 riders here have a perfect amount of riders to work together and potentially catch these two out the front. But the time is now increasing. 29 seconds, it says. 3.4k to the intermediate sprint. On my profile, obviously on your screen, it says that the what was I going to say? Right, so the chat has just updated there. I didn't see them last 4 messages that came in. So Hound, I'm only seeing your messages now. And Bobby, yikes, this is worrying for Eunice. What that Lenny Martinez is going toe to toe with him and keeping up with him. I don't think it's that worrying. I think Jonas Vingegaard has obviously won the GCs, won 2 stages, and I don't think he wants to do anything too exaggerated, on that descent. If he crashed, that's another crash for Jonas Vingegaard, and he is in the GC. He's already won 2 stages. All he needs to do is stick with Lenny. He didn't drop him on the climb, but he did drop everyone else. So I think it's all right for Jonas at the moment. He said about in stage Magne crashed, but I had Welsford in my team, so it was chill. Him and Phillipson crashed 3k to go, which was unfortunate to see, but it was some sprint from Little. We're into the final 10k now. Into the final 10k, 2.1 kilometers until the intermediate sprint. I know, but I mean, is Lenny even a second tier GC rider? Well, he's still young, so he's 22. He won a stage at the Paris-Nice last year, so he's obviously, he really wants to win one again. But he has been good, but with attacks and stuff. But I think I don't know. I get what you're saying. But in the end, does Jonas really need to? I thought he would have got over the top of it alone as well, but Lenny Martinez was strong enough to stick with him, and no one else was able to. And yeah, I can see where you are coming from, but I don't think it is that worrying for Vingegaard, seeing he's already won. Finally got more points than you in a sprint stage. Took you long enough. but the gap for the what was I going to say? The gap for the Kevin Vacquelin group is now 40 seconds up the road, so it doesn't look like they are catching them. I'm imagining this if Ayuso was here or if Poggi was to attack. Yeah, no, definitely. I think if Ayuso or Pogacar was here, I think we would see more risks being taken, because on that descent down the hill, Lenny was gapping him, and Jonas Vingegaard was taking it very passive because it was quite wet, and Lenny, obviously, I said earlier, he's throwing the kitchen sink at it because I don't think he cares about if it's slippy or not. He's dying to win a stage. But you've seen Jonas take it very passively. And then you've seen Jonas Vingegaard towards the top. He got out of the saddle to attack again. Lenny Martinez went with him. And then Jonas Vingegaard there was no point in really attacking anymore because he was going to stick with him. But I think if the likes of Ayuso, well, if Ayuso, I can't say Pogacar because he wasn't here, but if Ayuso was here, you would see potentially different tactics from Visma. Maybe it would be Martinez, Ayuso, and Vingegaard here. Or if Ayuso was in the yellow jersey, you would see Vingegaard taking more risks. But I think, if you look, I could be arse clicking buttons, but that's a GC there. He's 3 minutes on Danny Martinez, who has 1 minute and 26 down, so it's going to go into the 4 minutes for him. Is there any point in taking? You've won 2 stages. Yes, the hat trick would be nice, and I think he is going to get the hat trick, because if it does come to a sprint here, I think Vingegaard should take the sprint. But there's no point in challenging Lenny Martinez to the point of where you're going full out just for the hat trick when you've already done that much. Ayuso would have won this 100%. You can throw that take out there, but it is something we will never know. I think Ayuso would have had a good. I think he would have had a good Paris-Nice. I was excited to see them two race against each other. It's just unfortunate he crashes on the first. What am I trying to say? The climb finish. Was it a mountain? Yeah, mountain finish. But 7.5 kilometers to go. We have got still Lenny and Vingegaard out the front on their own. Lenny at the front as Vingegaard moves to the front now. The second group, which consists of Kevin Vacquelin, Harold Tejada, Ion Izagirre, Mathieu Rondel, Alex Boudin, and Steinhauser. They're 43 seconds down now. So, like I said about a minute ago, they aren't going to catch them. Would have been like 30 seconds in favour of Jonas, in my opinion. Races are so boring if there's like Vingegaard or Pogacar alone. Yeah, no, I'm glad Lenny Martinez is here, because in my prediction I did say Vingegaard's going to attack on the final Category 1 climb and go solo, but I'm glad Martinez is here because he did make that descent a bit more interesting. Gapping Vingegaard obviously, but I think when it does come to the sprint, you're looking at Vingegaard win. If Lenny Martinez does win, that is very, very good for him, obviously, because they're around the same size, but he is a lot smaller. What is he? 52 kg, and what is Vingegaard? 58 kg. Oh, I forgot. Trust the process. But I think if Vingegaard loses the sprint to Lenny Martinez, I don't think he'll be happy with that, with the difference in size. But Vingegaard should win it. They've got the Danny Martinez group here of Red Bull. He is 1 minute and 30 down. He's almost catching the Kevin Vacquelin group. They're 42 seconds down, so 18 seconds between these two groups. Fair play to Vlasov and Lawrence Pithy, who brought him back. I'm him. I guess 1 in 6 predictions or something. So you've worked it all out. Yeah, if he loses this... If he does lose the sprint to Lenny, I think the questions will be asked there. Well, the Giro, I don't think the Giro is going to be decided in a sprint. I think it will be more decided in the mountains. But I think for stages, when you're looking at this, I think this is a stage that Jonas Vingegaard should be winning. Obviously, you can look at it in the Giro sense if there is, smaller second gaps and you're sprinting for time bonuses and stuff like that. You can go here, well, look, Jonas Vingegaard isn't winning this one. He got beat by Lenny Martinez. But that's nothing against Lenny Martinez. I'm just saying because he's a lot smaller and a lot lighter. He doesn't have as much power in a sprint as Jonas. But I think, yeah, like I said, if he does lose the 2-man sprint, questions will be asked by the media, and Pogacar fans are going to clown on Vingegaard for losing it. But if Lenny wins, fair play to Lenny. We'll not know here for another 5.2 kilometers as we are about to hit the final 5k. This is my sixth. So who was the last rider you predicted to win a stage? And Almeida is winning the Giro Trust here. You need to trademark the word trust. I don't think Almeida is coming anywhere close to winning the Giro. Especially, that is a bit harsh. He hasn't had the best at the start of seasons, and then he didn't ride the Paris-Nice because of illness, so I've nothing really to judge him on. Ghana. You're counting that? You're counting Ghana? You're counting Ghana as a prediction? I mean, I'm going to count Ghana as a prediction. But I think everyone knew. So we're into the final 5k. Vingegaard and Lenny Martinez. 50 kilometers an hour they're both riding on. You took a risk. I think that's the first time I've ever heard that sentence. I took a risk with going for Ghana because Roglic has a better TT. not on a flat. If it was hilly or there was a couple climb maybe in it, maybe I'd give it to you. So 3.9k to go. The Watchalong group is now 30 seconds, so it has dropped from 42 to 30. Danny Martinez's group is a minute and 23 down. I love Roglic, but yeah, Ghana on a flat time trial, Ghana clears. Ghana clears anyone. The only one I think could go with them is maybe Evenepoel. But then again, Ghana is just different. I know you're trolling. I'm just going along with it. 26 seconds on the Kevin Watchalong group. Minute 13 for the Danny Martinez group. The Kevin Watchalong group still consists of Watchalong, Harold Tejada, Ion Izagiri, Matisse Rondell, Alex Boudin, and Steinhauser. So it is 3.1k to go. 3k to go now. So we are just about to wrap up the Paris-Nice here. And then that is us for World Tour Racing for 6 days. We're the Milan-San Remo. I'll be live back for the Milan-San Remo next Saturday. Couple pro races during the week. I don't know. I'll think about going live maybe for one. Don't know. We'll see. I'll see what's on what they're showing on the TV because they're quite picky with what they show. Is the best. It's the best time trial. So we've got Mikel Landa and how do you pronounce his name? Is it Mezgec? That's what I think. But Mikel Landa and Mezgec are the best. They're just the best time trialists of all time. I'll just say it here as we're coming into the final 2k. If you do enjoy, like, subscribe. Live for every World Tour race this year. So my pronunciation is, I had a feeling it was wrong. He's called Luca. So Luca is, that's how it looks to me. It's Mezgec. So I will stick it in the translate after and see what it says. But for now, he's called Luca. But yes, sorry, what was I talking about? Yes, like and subscribe, all that. Do that if you want to keep up to date. Follow my TikTok, the Final K on TikTok. All the predictions, race recaps, and all that are on there. Is it Mezgec? No, is that it? Mezgec. I'll ask translate later. But 1.3 kilometres to go. Lenny Martinez at the front of the 2. There's a football stadium here. What football stadium's that? OCG Nice, maybe? So they're about to hit the here we go. Lenny Martinez versus Vingegaard. The final kilometre they've hit now. 24 seconds on the group behind, so they aren't getting it. They both look back and slow up off the pedals. It is the first one to make the move. The group behind have the 1 kilometre banner in their sights now. But it is coming down to Lenny Martinez and Jonas Vingegaard. Martinez looks over the left shoulder, waiting for Vingegaard to launch. At the start of the final kilometre, they almost came to a standstill. But it is just waiting now for the first one to launch. Sorry, there was something on my mic there. That's what. They're showing the final group. I want to see Martinez and Vingegaard here. So who's launching first? Who's going to launch first? Martinez still looking over his shoulder. Vingegaard looks over his shoulder to see where the second group is. They almost look... They both look over the shoulder at the same time. They must be getting close. Round the final bend, it seems. Yep, round the final bend. Vingegaard attacks or launches from the back. Lenny Martinez out the front, but Vingegaard's still in behind. Vingegaard looks as if he's not going to get this. Vingegaard's still attacking. Lenny Martinez, Vingegaard comes round the left-hand side of Lenny Martinez, and Martinez gets it. Ooh. Yikes. Harold Tejada gets third. Vingegaard just lost in a sprint to Lenny Martinez. Oh dear. Oh dear. Vingegaard almost caught him there on the line, but Lenny Martinez gets it. You're just happy for your prediction. Vingegaard throws at the end, realises he's lost, and shakes the head. Yeah, he launched. You think he launched late? I think he launched a bit too early, I think. Because then he sat down in the saddle behind, and then he got out of the saddle again. Oh, you're more happy for Martinez? Yeah, no, I'm glad he got the... He won the stage last year. Not this stage, but he won a stage last year. And he's keeping the trend up of winning a stage every Paris-Nice. But Vingegaard coming second. But then again, Vingegaard wins the Paris-Nice by a massive margin. He won 2 stages, so you can't take that away from him. Martinez can put the same power as him out, but he can't. But he can last longer. Well, here, there's the proof of your statement. Lenny Martinez just didn't stop. Hands in the air, tongue out. Brilliant. Brilliant sprint between the two. Lightweight king. But Barry and Finn, is that who? Obviously they have Tiberi, but is that only their second win maybe of the year? Let's see if I can find their... I'm going to wait for the preliminary results, but 3 wins. Yeah, so it's their second World Tour win. So they've had 3 winners, Tiberi, Buitrago and Lenny Martinez. So that's good for Bahrain. Yeah, Jonas ain't even coming second in the tour. You've already wrote the tour off for him. Do I think Lipo for the Volta Catalunya? I think Ramco got the leadership in UAE and didn't live up to it. I think they probably will just give it the... if it was me, I'd give it to Lipo. Or, what am I calling him? Like a mate's him. Lipowitz, I would give it to him. Or Lipowitz, or whatever you call him. I think if it was me, I would give it to Lipowitz, but I mean, because Remco, big rider, all that, I think they may just give it to him. I say, oh, here's the leader, and then when Remco drops, then they give it to Lipowitz, but I would give it to Lipowitz from the start. Yeah, he can't, and it has been proven in the UAE tour, which I thought he would have done a lot better in. So this is the preliminary results. First, Lenny Martinez of Bahrain. Second, Jonas Vingegaard. Third, Harold Tejada. Fourth, Kevin Vauquelin. Fifth, Alex Baudin. Sixth, George Steinhauser. Ian Izagiri in seventh. Matisse Rondell in eighth. Nicholas Vinokurov in ninth of Astana, and Mark Soler in 10th. Lipo or only? Do you mean in the Catalunya, or do you just mean better in general? And there's no there's no time trial, so he's useless. I think only, even if he's going to be the leader. Does Danny Martinez get second in the GC? Does he? What do you mean? Do you mean Lipo or only in the Catalunya, or do you just mean in general? Who do you think's better? If you mean the Catalunya, I have a feeling who's better now and who has a higher ceiling. Oh, good question. Good question. I think. See, if Only was still a picnic post, I would go with Lipowitz, but because Only's moved to Ineos, so he has Ineos with him, but he has Red Bull. I think I'm going to go with Lipowitz. I love Only, and I think he's going to do brilliant things, but I just think Lipowitz has that. But it was them two fighting for the white jersey in the end, wasn't it? I think Lipowitz, so. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Lipowitz, even though I love Oscar Only. Oh, he raced in the Volta Algarve. he was woeful in it. I forgot all about that. But then again, that could just be him. I don't think he was going for it. He got 8th in general classification. Was there anyone else from Red Bull? Felipe Martinez, he got higher than him. He finished 7th. But I obviously can't speak for them, but I think Lipowitz must have just been there just to test the legs, see how he was feeling. They're just showing the sprint again there. I can't believe Lenny Martinez beat him there. Danny Martinez doesn't look good. He's holding his ribs. There's no way he cycled the rest of that race with broken ribs. Almeida better than Remco for Volta. What do you mean, the Volta Catalunya or the Volta Algarve? My prediction was coming. This is a bigger choke than Doors Door last year. I don't think anything's going to come close to that. I don't think anything's going to come close to that Doors Door last year. That last year was shocking. But yes, that's the Pyrenees finished. Vingegaard wins. Still have nightmares that. I'm gonna end the stream. Thank you very much for watching. Like I said, follow me on TikTok and Instagram, the Final K. But yeah, thanks for following along with the Tirreno and the Pyrenees this week. It has been brilliant. GG, I clapped you today. Well, here, look at the look at the leaderboard at the end and tell me who's winning. All right, see you later, Bobby. But yes, all the best. Thanks for watching the Final K, and have a good one.